If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. When you do, make sure you hit the notification bell. That means that you will be informed of when a new video has been released. If you would like to take that support one step further, you can do that via Patreon, which is an optional monthly service. You can donate money towards the channel, or you can go over to Ko-fi.com, and for the price of a coffee you can help donate towards the channel as well. Links for all of those will be in the description of the video, and without further ado, enjoy the video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching another interview from the SIL, and today I am delighted to be able to say that I am joined by the player manager of arguably the most talked about club in the SIL at this point. It is the recently appointed player manager of Bramford United, James Fulker. James, how are you doing, mate? You well?
Yeah, all good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Before we kind of get into the swing of things, how has life been for you in COVID world? It's a bit of a strange time. How have you been adjusting to everything?
It's been a bit surreal, to be honest, because I've gone from doing absolutely nothing to just full on at work, and obviously the whole Bramford stuff, so it's all starting to pick up. So
Yeah,
keeping me busy though, so all good.
I was just going to say, you have been an incredibly busy man. Out of work with the club. Let's get straight into it then. How did this all kind of come about? Because as far as people were concerned from the outside, that was Bramford done. That was it. That they folded halfway through last season, and we weren't expecting to kind of hear from him again for a while. And I think that's where people maybe are looking at this thinking, well, how has this kind of been allowed to happen? So from your perspective, with this is your first involvement with the club, how did it all come about?
So it's quite funny, really. The idea got floated around in a group chat, just as you do with mates, and saying how good it would be to play in the same team again and what have you. And then we slowly started counting the numbers up and realised we'd probably have a fairly good team. We could get the numbers in, and basically thought about starting up brand new. But it's just, as you probably know, like a bit of a faff trying to get a committee on board, trying to get a chairman involved. And I've realised just doing all this, there's a lot of work to be done. So
yeah,
what we'd done was contacted a few clubs. There was no shortage of takers, to be quite honest. But
right,
Bramford we knew were vacant. Obviously got quite a good infrastructure there. So made the call to the chairman. He said they'd had quite a few offers. I think he said like in excess of 10. So never really expected to get a call back or anything. And then sure enough, a few weeks later, he's saying like couldn't agree anything with anyone else. And we had the players, and it just married up really well, to be honest. And now here we are.
So a simple group chat, and here we are. That's incredible. Really.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite worrying because it's all good and well talking about it, isn't it? But it's another thing to try and actually make it happen. And we're quite in a unique situation where we can obviously play together as mates now. So
yeah,
all good.
I have to admit the amount of times I've floated the idea with some of my mates and said, you know what, that'd be really fun just to go and make a team. But you are right. Logistically, it's far tougher than the idea of just simply saying, right, let's just get 15 of us together and let's just see what happens. All the stuff that goes on in the background is incredible. So just for a little bit of context in terms of your experience in the game, just for those of you, for those of my audience who are new to the SIL and watching for the first time, what's your history in the game?
So I basically played a lot of youth football, but I only really started getting into it towards sixth form, and played at a scheme called C-Tech. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was an affiliation with Woodbridge Town.
Okay.
So quite a few of the players who are joining Bramford now I've played with ever since back at Woodbridge under-18s and Woodbridge reserves, Woodbridge first team. So we go back a long way. And then I think shortly after that, I joined Cobblestonians. So I was there for a good 2 years.
Right.
And then probably took a fair few years out of the game. Only ever really sort of played here and there when I could. But in terms of management experience, I spent a year abroad in New York coaching youth teams, but this is my first step into obviously an adult managerial setup.
So for you as an individual, where did the kind of desire come from to get yourself not only managing adults for the first time, but also get yourself kind of back playing again, considering what you've just said there?
So I missed a big part out. So last year I played for Debenham as well. So I played probably 3/4 of the season there, and then I've done a few games for Ipswich Athletic as well. So still like really familiar with the SIL and everything there. So in terms of getting into managing, I think I basically just took the leap of faith in that I could probably organise a fair bit of it. I never really wanted to be the figurehead on the sideline. So to say, I still want to have a big part playing wise. I'm not ready to hang my boots up just yet. So
okay.
So I don't know if you saw the Twitter the other day, but we are still looking for a coach as well. So
yes,
it'd be good to so it'd be good to have someone on the sideline. So it gives me a bit of an opportunity to still to play here and there as well. So.
Well, if anybody is watching this and is interested, I'll leave his Twitter in the description. You guys can get in contact with him. We'll see if we can try and get something sorted from this. Who knows? Let's try and get something done. So let's talk about some of the signings that you guys have made, because some of the names that you've been pulling out recently have just been incredible. If I go through a few on here, we've got Luke Singh, who has recently been playing for Woodbridge Town. We've got Ben Licence, who everybody who's in the furlough none will know him from his days at Stowmarket. We've got the likes of Grant Monaghan, who's a great addition. We've the names, honestly, that you guys have been pulling out. Adam Singh, another one. There's just been so many that you've brought in. How has this all been based around the group chat, or has this been kind of like people that within the group chat know people? How have you been able to kind of pull some of these names out?
Yeah, so most of them are like really close mates. So I work with Luke Singh. I played with him at Copplestonians, and Adam's obviously his brother. The likes of Jack Severy, Dave Kempson, I've been friends with them for 10, 15 years. We all started at Woodbridge together, so all good friends. So
definitely,
just fortunate they're all ready to join me on the adventure.
So let's kind of look into next season then. Obviously, with the situation that happened with Bramford off the pitch, you will be starting the season in Division 3. And you are not the only new team to that division. There's going to be a lot of unknown for you and for all the kind of, I say, established teams in Div 3.
Yeah.
How do you think you guys can fare? Because on paper, and I've had a couple of people saying to me, unbeaten season, which I know is a bold statement, but that's the kind of feedback that I'm getting based on what you guys are doing off the pitch. So how do you think next season can go for you, or is it too early to even think about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's too early, and SIL is just a completely different kettle of fish to like furlough as well. Like you haven't, especially in SIL 3, you obviously haven't got linesmen. The pitches can be a bit iffy here and there, so the games aren't going to go the way you think they're going to go, and you get a lot of good players in SIL, the ones that like us want to play with friends or just want to drop down and not have to do all the travelling as well. So we're not really setting our expectations out there. We're just going to approach each game as it comes, and we're there to enjoy it more than anything. So
I mean, have you guys talked about targets, expectations, or is the kind of ethos and what you guys are wanting to do still based on that original group chat of wouldn't it be amazing if we could just all get together and just have a kickabout?
That is definitely the ethos, but I would say like I've got goals where like I want to take the club back up to SIL Prem. Who wouldn't really? Your goal should always be to win games and try and win the league if we can. And if we got consecutive promotions up to SIL Prem, that would be ideal. But everyone knows like it doesn't always pan out that way. So
sure. No, that's fair. That's a fair comment. I suppose longer term is the aim ideally to try and get things like the reserve side established again, because I know a couple of my mates who used to play for the reserves. That every team needs that kind of infrastructure to have as a backup and players constantly coming through, etc. Have the club really spoke to you about that kind of stuff, or is it again far too early in the process to even be thinking about something like that?
they have mentioned it a couple of times. I think they'd like to do the reserves and an under-18 side. I think their worry is with under-18s is that a lot of the up-and-comers get poached by like furlough non teams and go to like a so-called better setup where they can get, maybe into the reserves and first team up there. But I think ideally that would be the goal, to try and get players that come through from the 18s to the reserves to the first team, just so you've got a solid infrastructure.
Definitely. And one final thing from myself, then, I'm going to allow this as your opportunity to attract that coach and that assistant manager to the club that you are wanting to get on board. It's a new club, so what is it about what you guys are trying to do, and what is it about the club reborn again that is so attractive? Why should somebody who's thinking about it approach you and come and have a bit of a chat?
I just think, like you say, it's a completely fresh start from us, and I know it's been talked about what happened last year. I don't really know too much about it because none of the players involved from last year are involved this year, or thus far anyway, that I know of. And I just think it's a it's a good opportunity to come and watch some good football, and we've got a few good players, as people have seen. I think our ethos is very much going to be trying to play out from the back and play some attractive football wherever we can. So yeah. And
with you on the pitch, I suppose whoever does come on board can be basically active manager anyway, can't they? So
exactly. Hopefully someone can take the reins off me. It's pressure off my shoulders then, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I might chat to you afterwards. James, absolute pleasure having you on. I really wish you guys the best of luck for the upcoming season. I'll definitely be coming down. It was a club that I wanted to visit for a long time anyway. It was such a shame that the club ended in the way they did. But as I said, now that it is back, everything's back up and running. I can't wait to see what you guys are capable of. So I'll come and join you guys maybe 5 or 10 games into a season. I'll let you kind of establish yourself, and then I'll see what you're all about.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Happy days. Cheers for your time, mate.
Thank you very much, mate.
If you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you want to take that support one step further, there are 2 donation pages that you can put some money towards the running costs of the channel. In the description below, you have got Patreon and you have got Ko-fi. As I said, links for both of those will be down below. But until next time, as always, adios.